Sarah D to come and talk to us.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like in awe right now. Everybody that just spoke. It's awesome to see so many different avenues and varieties of people, various people here. It's really cool. I mean, to speak to some of these women and other people that I've never met and that I do know of, and then people that I've met before, to see them again here. And it's gorgeous. So, let's just begin. Let me get this stool, because I like to do this service, just chilling. Everybody light up, please. Because we're talking about methods of ingestion, so please, if you have it, medicate, 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 but don't forget to titrate. Okay. Grab this. So I'm Sarah D. If you don't know who I am. I come to this industry back in 2003, being a patient. And I've been a patient consultant working in dispensaries. I've worked at Ingestion University teaching. I was on Cannabis Planet season 1. I write for Culture magazine. I have my own magazine, SarahD.wmv. What else do I do? Just check out SarahD.com, it'll tell you the rest, because that's not why I'm here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about methods of ingestion. So, true or false? Every person reacts differently to the same strain.
True.
Absolutely true. So when you guys are medicating right now, you're all going to feel something different, even if it's the same strain and the same dose. It's about self-medication. You're going to find personal preferences that you like, whether it's the method you use, the strain you use, or just the type of lotion you use versus smoking. So we'll go over all of the different types and what helps your health. Sometimes you know that you can't even smoke. I know a lot of people who can't smoke because either lung cancer or for various reasons, so they go to an edible or a lotion. So you're gonna find your personal preference. Keep a journal when you're doing this, especially if you're gonna be smoking a lot of cannabis. Keep a journal. It's kind of hard to remember everything about every strain unless you're DJ Short. So really, that's kind of what I did when I first started. I would try everything I possibly could. The first counter that I was at a dispensary had 100 strains on it, on their board, on their menu. 100 different strains that you could choose from. I was just in shock. So to be able to open each of these jars, smell these, you guys know the names of them, you know the genetics of them. But if you don't know them all and you're just starting out, keep a journal. And tell people who've never done this before to try that, to try the journal. What do you put in the journal? How does it taste? How does it smell? How does it make you feel? How long did it make you feel that way? Did it make you sleepy? Did it make you more awake? I mean, it's beyond. Another thing that I kind of tell people to do is, where did you acquire it if you didn't grow it yourself? What dispensary did you get it at, and what was the donation for it? Because then when you go back and you think, gosh, I had those bad cramps. Where did I get that really good hash from? Ah, yes, it was this dispensary, and this was the way better price. You know, whatever it was, the donation was better there. So, keeping a journal goes on so many different levels. Titration. I know DJ Short probably went over that. Titration. Can anybody tell me what titration is? Bueller?
The amount of THC your body can withstand before you reach a plateau, and it doesn't do anything else.
True. THC plus everything else that cannabis does to us. Not only THC, the psychoactive effect, but everything that does to us.
Right.
Basically, you don't need to, for instance, an edible or a joint. You don't need to suck down an entire joint or eat an entire brownie. If you've never ever tried edibles before or medicated before, a little bit goes a long way, especially with concentrates. Some oil or some hash, you do not need a lot. I have made a good gram of hash last me a couple of weeks. You know, I mean, you barely need it. And you don't need to keep taking bong load after bong load after bong load, because after a while, you're not really getting medicated anymore. And you're wasting your herb, and your pocket's probably not gonna like you either, because you're not having any money, because you're just smoking all your stuff. Your flowers are just going like this. So make sure that you titrate it. Being safe, happy, and not over-medicated is the most important thing of being a patient. Because you don't want to be over-medicated and be lethargic, but you also want to be safe and feel happy. I mean, that's what this plant does for us, right? That's why this plant came to us, was to make us happy. So basically with titration, it's starting with the lowest possible dose and working your way up. So with a joint or an edible, a quarter. Take a bite of it and wait an hour, because as we go into what an edible will do to you, and you can tell, actually this is a really good book, Yields and Dosages by Chris Conrad. If you've never had it, I would use this in my Oaksterdam class and go to page 6, there's a little chart that shows you the difference between smoking and eating the cannabis. Smoking, we all know, it's an immediate effect. You feel it, and then you slowly taper off. But with an edible, if you've never had it before, based on your weight, your height, your metabolism, what you eat, because I'm vegan, so I don't eat any meat or dairy, I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't drink alcohol. That makes the cannabis react to me very differently than to other people who do use all of those things. Are you a diabetic? Do you have heart problems? Every single thing that is your chemical makeup, your endocannabinoid system, is going to make you feel it differently. And with an edible, what's in that edible? Big question mark. What kind of cannabis is it? Keef? Is it hash? Is it flowers?
Vape.
What kind of flowers? Is it an indica? Is it a sativa? Is it a CBD rich strain? I mean, you don't know. There is no common standard practice right now amongst our edibles. So you need to just take a bite and chill. Make sure the kids are at the babysitters. Make sure you have no emails, no work, no phone calls. Just enjoy an edible. Because an edible is technically for pain relief and insomnia, chronic pain. You don't need to be doing much. Never ever drive on an edible. You could, if you are an edible professional, okay, I was an edible taster and a tester for over a year at a dispensary. And I had to test every type of edible you can imagine, from chocolate dipped cheesecakes to toffee to chili. I mean, I have had it all. And I got sick a lot. In the beginning, it was very bad for me because, for instance, my blood sugar. I'm already running at a little bit of a low blood sugar, and when you do eat an edible, it drops your blood sugar even lower, and that's what gives you that almost fainting, like overheated, oh, gotta get some water and splash my face. Now, somebody who's diabetic, who already is running high blood sugar, edibles would actually work well with them if they could titrate it well. Then they could lower their blood sugar and be balanced and be good. And it's that balance that we're all seeking. And so you don't want to over-medicate yourself, especially in a week and a half from now on 420. Watch that table at the buffet table if it's got medicine in it, because you just don't know. It tastes so good and you want to keep eating it, but it's not until X amount of hours later that your body says, hi, you ate an edible 5 hours ago, remember me? I have actually walked out of a grocery store and left a full cart of groceries because I had an overdose of edibles. And it's scary. It's not fun, and so make sure you titrate it. Titrate. I cannot say it enough. It's very, very important. And once you're medicated, stop. You don't need it anymore, honestly. You really don't. You're just going to be wasting your medicine, and you're going to be wasting your money. So just, unless you are growing it and you're doing it yourself, but then you're wasting your time too. So, yeah, so Good This, if you have not, has quite a bit of information in it. I'm not promoting Chris, it's just that I definitely, he's fabulous, but it's a really good book. So, how many different ways are there to medicate? Smoking, vaporizing, edibles, capsules, tinctures, topicals, extracts, concentrates. What's the safest? Now, if you're smoking, she'd be right, which is really bizarre. But if you're vaporizing, now we're talking vaporizing is actually the safest. If you're going to ingest it as if it's going to be smoke, then definitely the vaporizer. We all know you're not getting the full plant material, you're not getting all the carcinogens. But when you smoke anything, sorry, it's not good for you. When you smoke anything, we know it's not good for you. So by implementing edibles and other things like vaporizing into your system, then you can balance it.
So I was at a Medican conference a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and the doctor started mentioning concentrates, and I brought combustion, medicating, lighting it, and he talked about the plant matter and all the chlorophyll and all the other stuff, and he said that was the irritant. Because my whole question is exactly what you just said about igniting it. So if I smoked concentrates, which have no zero to little no plant matter in it, what's going to be irritating?
If you're using a Bic lighter, don't use anything but a Bic.
So if I'm just using a wand, like if I'm heating it?
The actual lighter, all that fume that's inside there, you're inhaling that. That's gross. Every time you hit the bong, every time you hit it torches your medicine. So torch it a little bit like a glass wand, and then take the concentrates and you just touch it. Or for instance, you can actually do a coal. Anybody done the coal using like a dentist pick? I mean, we'll go over all this, but using something that's non-toxic, that's sterilized. Nothing like a paper clip or anything like that. That's just wrong. Just take something that's metal, that's hard, that can withstand heat, because literally you're going to be putting heat to this rod. And when you take the cannabis, you scoop a little scoop out, and when you touch it actually to the coal, the smoke is going to come up. You need to trap the smoke with a whip. You can have a hash bar on your 420 party next week and a half. Hash bars, it technically is, and you go, but no, I meant hash.
So,
I meant hash, not oil with butane. I meant hash. Like you can actually do this with hash too. And hash in a wooden pipe is extremely safe, or glass. Plastic and metal is 1989. No more plastic and metal. If you have a plastic bong at your house, throw it away. Use it and put it up and put flowers in it and make it a flower vase. No more metal. No metal little pipes. If you see anybody doing that, explain to them and tell them what they're doing to themselves. This isn't healthy. This is not healthy at all. So glass and definitely wood pipes for hash. Hash by itself is fantastic actually for menstrual cramps and nausea. I find that the hash itself, like a good cold water hash, and you know what I'm talking about, that's really malleable, light brown, that's just really good. Something you found it on the floor and you didn't know what it was, you probably throw it away. But for us, we're like, no, that's a gold mine. You know, I mean, you can really take that tiny little piece, flatten it down, stick it in a pipe, and it will last in that wooden pipe for quite some time. Now, when you are smoking it though, no matter what, you're still smoking something. And so you need to definitely implement vaporizing, edibles, other methods. If it's mainly an arthritis problem, try the lotions and the topicals. You don't have to just keep smoking a bong, bong, bong. Now, out of the three, like she mentioned, joint. Bong, pipe, joint. What is the safest?
Joint.
Yep.
Joint.
Why?
Because he heard her
hit
say
it once.
that first, and he's
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah.
Well, but then why didn't anybody else say? You guys all just medicated?
Well, we have to
Well,
think about
you
it.
don't have to keep
I
lighting
said
it.
not joint because of paper. That just seems
Not. What
No.
kind of paper are you using? I only
Okay,
use
yeah,
hemp paper.
all right.
If you use zigzags, chuck them.
That was
Sorry
my
if anybody's a
question.
representative of zigzags, but chuck them. It's what the same thing that the cigarette's made out of, which I am so anti-cigarettes. So hemp paper, rice paper, the little cellulose papers, something else besides that. And so watch what paper. And if you're going to make a little crutch, make sure that's a hemp or raw or unbleached as well. Like, don't just grab a business card or something from a magazine, because what the heck is this glossy stuff made out of? That's toxic for your body. So be very careful, you know, when you are ingesting with a joint. But once again, it is the safest if you're smoking out of a pipe, a bong, and a joint. Just smoking. Vaporizing, we know, is the healthiest when it comes to ingesting it by smoking. But when you get that joint, the reasoning on that is because the cherry is your lighter. You're not inhaling a lighter every single time. With the pipe, I know we're passing pipes. I just smoked a pipe. I very rarely smoke out of a pipe. But if it's being handed to me by this lovely lady, how do I deny it? So, you know, the pipe itself is so close to that lighter. And you're just charring the back of your throat. Ever noticed if you're a vaporizing patient, if you go try to smoke your friend's bong or a pipe, it's kind of like, whoa, hey there. You know, it really does actually get to you, and you realize how much safer the vaporizing is and how much better it is for you if you haven't smoked a joint or a bong, or a pipe or a bong after a while. What about a bong? Why would that not be so healthy?
Because the water starts gathering bacteria.
There's stuff going on.
There's some chemical reactions going on in that bong. You got a little science experiment going on, and not the good kind of science
You need
experiments.
clean
that I
water.
would- If you can keep your water so crystal clear that I could see my face through it and look at you, and you have not one particle of resin or anything on there, you're pretty cool. Because I love a glass bong with little ice cubes, you know, really
That's
cold
you.
water. You know.
One-hand bong.
Oh, I love it. I won't deny it for sure. I mean, I get
You
it.
need to keep it
Just
clean,
for
though.
recreational use.
Clean.
You know, on 420, I'll be using every method I possibly can. It's the one day that I'll say the S word to get stoned, you know, but every other day of the year, you have to be very, very careful on what you're ingesting and how much you are ingesting. Also, with the bong, how do you clean your bong? How do you clean your bong? Do you
Often.
use like simple green?
They use salt and
Orange chronic?
alcohol, I
Yep.
believe it is.
Largest granule salt you can find, like
Yeah,
kosher
rock
sea
salt.
salt, because it's very abrasive. I've even tried dry rice. If your bong is not so intricate and it doesn't do like an Illadelph, you know, then you can just use really large granulated rice and it doesn't dissolve. And not cooked, of course, because then that's just going to be a really disastrous mess.
No sticky rice?
No sticky rice, no like long grain, like
Don't let it
no.
sit that
And don't let it set. You know, you're not gonna let it set or anything. And you're just gonna wash that and rinse it out. Where do you pour it when you're done? Bueller, anyone?
Garbage
The
disposal.
toilet. And this is the man who doesn't smoke. Toilet. Yes, in the toilet. Because you don't need to do it in your bathtub or your sink. I mean, come on. Let's be responsible.
What about outside?
Yeah, you can do it outside.
Ultrasonic cleaner? That sounds like something you get if you have a baby, an ultrasound. I don't even know what that
an
is.
ultrasonic cleaner is what jewelers
Oh, like for
use
your toothbrush.
Yeah, they're air.
Yes.
I used to work for the guy that owned Glasshead Bongs. And when they had stuff come back, they needed to like get rid of it real quick or clean it or whatever.
Yeah.
And they bragged about their ultrasonic cleaner. I bought one of those Santa Ana Freeway Flyers from them, which was a carburetor that had
Good?
4 twists. We smoked it for 3 months with joints up the ass where you couldn't see through the last one. I took it in there and told them to clean it. They were going to give me a new one. I said, no, you've been bragging about this thing. You say it's just water and vibration. They put it in there. It came out looking better than a brand new.
Wow. No, I'm seeing now that. You know, it's so funny because I was talking about making, I would love to be able to make a little bong washing machine with the little crate, like you put your silverware, but you put your stem in your bowl, and then you just stick it on the little stick, and then you just put it on, and it washes it and agitates it for you. That'd be so nice. That'd be
Well,
so
they invented
nice.
it. It's ultrasonic,
Oh,
though.
ultrasonic. I'm
And
looking
then all
that
those
up.
curly
I love
cues
it.
get clean.
Love it, love it, love it. So the bong, you know, is wonderful. The joint, you know, is even better. The pipe is actually the worst out of the 3. You know, definitely the pipe is the worst out of the 3. The water, though, also, it reduces the THC level. So kind of, you're not really getting too high from the actual medicine. You're getting high because you're inhaling so much. And you're going, oh, you know, that whole thing. And then if you're holding in your lungs, holding the air in your lungs, is that good?
It's humid air.
It's not really that good. You shouldn't be doing that either. You should actually just be blowing it back out immediately by holding in your lungs. It damages your lung tissues. Plus, then you're holding it air in, and then you're just making your oxygen level, you know, go off, and that's why you're feeling
before
high.
you take that bong in. Then you could hold it longer.
Okay. So vaporizing, smoking, vaporizing. We know it's the safest. What's your favorite vaporizing?
The Evolution.
The volcano.
Volcano.
The volcano.
The digital
The
volcano.
digital volcano is so amazing. I wish I had
Does
one.
it work?
Yeah.
It's the Zephyr. I've heard that
I
one's
can't get
fantastic as
high
well.
The
on a
Evolution.
vaporizer.
Oh, you mean that
Evolution.
part. No.
So
works.
the vaporizer has
It
come a
does
long
what
way.
it
Remember the
says.
old pencil sharpener with the whip kind style, the little
We bought a
box?
vaporizer.
You know,
Yeah,
those
effect.
you had to suck so hard and you could hardly tell the temperature. I mean, really, we've come a long way with vaporizers. So use your vaporizers. It's one of the best. You don't get all the carcinogens, especially with lungs and everything. You know, if you have any sort of lung, insomnia, or emphysema, anything like
piece of
that,
shit.
the
We threw it
vaporizer
away.
is definitely the best.
Did you
But
fill up the whole
capsules
bag?
and
You do it
edibles.
yourself.
I know, a little goes a long way. It's such a different high too. Like I don't feel so lethargic. Exactly.
It wasn't that. It was.
Exactly. And the bag can sit for at least 20, maybe 20 minutes
Can I get anything?
before the THC
there's
sticks to
flavor.
the bag, which also THC sticks to a bomb too. So that's
holding
another
it.
reason. Edibles we've talked about, definitely titration, excellent for insomnia, excellent for severe pain. They come in so many different varieties. I've had mac and cheese, I've had everything you can think of. But the titration is extremely important with edibles, like I said, because what will happen is you actually 4 or 5 hours later, it will hit you, and it could last maybe even 8 hours. You don't know exactly how much. You're being a guinea pig in a way. You're self-medicating on an edible. You don't know the full ingredients unless it says it, which it should. Just like what DJ was teaching, you should have proper information on these edibles. The ingredients is so important. People are allergic to things. So if you are making them, make sure you do have that. And when you're ingesting it, make sure you do read all of the instructions on the back.
If you're doing your
I would grow
medicine,
vegetables, though. It's interesting to me.
the medicine yourself.
Yeah, and like she makes a really good point. If you are eating
just-
edibles
it's
quite a
kind of
bit,
a
you
neat
should probably
hobby
be
to
making it
me.
yourself.
And the other thing that you need to do with edibles,
You
get
see, hey man, this isn't working with this tomato. I gotta jiggle it.
work, but you have to space it out during the day.
Yes.
You may only take a couple bites in the morning,
Or an
a couple
eggplant.
Bites in the
later
afternoon,
on,
a
Just
couple
don't
bites
work
in
on
the
it.
evening.
the level at a therapeutic
You
dose.
have to find out. Well, what is it?
The right way.
You're not, it won't be as